Hello everybody, and oops, welcome to my stream. I totally forgot what happened since we were here last time, but we can go through the Git history and see what's changed, because I changed a lot of stuff. So I think 5 days ago, last week I wasn't here because I was at a really awesome conference, FOSDEM, highly recommended. I think this might have been the I forgot, but one of the biggest things I changed is the entity hierarchy. I have a really delicate system with this camera here, and as you can see, it's not working. I need to use better duct tape. Okay. So I changed the entity system. If you remember from last time, we used to have a class for dwarfs, a class for and traits for that class for rendering, updating, and so on. The same for tasks. Tasks didn't change that much since we last see them, but the dwarfs have changed a lot. So I went with an entity component system architecture, excuse me, where we have here the components. We still have the dwarf component, which is mainly named dwarf, so I remember what it's supposed to do, but it might as well be AI component. So this has a current action, handles doing action, and recently, I think just today I coded this, the pathfinding, which is not finished yet. It's mostly like an AI component. Wait, we have the transform component here that has a position, the renderable, okay, as well, handles the rendering, of course. So all of these things have happened because it's way easier to organize the project like that. So most game engines like Unreal or Unity or whatnot have this component based design where your entity has components, and the components hold both data as well as the behavior of that component. And they get updated and so on, and they mutate their state, and sometimes they send events to other components and so on and so forth. This is a little bit different because in this architecture, components have data in them, as you can see. They have a little bit of accessors. This is not fully transitioned, but like this. Some use utility methods for convenience, but mostly they just hold data. And we have systems, and the systems contain behavior, and systems act on components. So I'm thinking of changing this name actually, because it's not actually correct English, but so let's say this is a pathfinding component, or path pathfinding data. Okay, that worked more than 0. Okay. And this data contains the components upon which it should act. So the system contains behavior and the components contain data. So for example, this is a reference to dwarf components, transform components, and the map cells. So this system does pathfinding based on whatever I gave it there. So the 2 component arrays and so on. So basically systems have some sort of a view onto your entities, but just on the things that they need in order to perform those actions. More to the point, an entity, as described here, when it gets spawned, it creates its components. For now it's just hard coded here, but this, and as you can see, this thing, this insert, it gets mapped into some sort of, currently they're maps, maybe some of them should be arrays, I'm not worried about it, but entities are just an ID, a key, and that key can find us all the components that an entity has, and all of them are held in 2 separate places. So we're having the, this is a bit of a misnomer here, but this is should be item component or something, transform, rendering, AI, and so on. So we have a few systems now. We have the pathfinding system that we just saw here. Pretty cool. So in world update, we call systems pathfinding update path with this data. And now the dwarfs which need a new path will get their paths updated or found or whatever. And then we call update movement, which just needs the dwarf components as immutable and the transforms components as immutable as well. And theoretically, from the path data that is set here into the dwarf component, we update the transform component with the correct values. So I really like this. It has a few shortcomings. So as you can see in the systems here, it's not entirely ideal, because I would have really liked to have a sort of a structure that's like this, a pathfinding component, a transform, and a sort of iterator over these type of things, so I don't have to get them each time here or just go through the map like this. So iterating through them is a bit of a pain now. I did an experiment in a branch where I could iterate through the what's it called, sorry, through them like this. So the planning data could implement iterator and we could go through it like that and hide away the way it's iterating, but it's quite complicated to get this kind of a behavior, or it was for me, because I don't know how to do it. So I know this is not terribly nice or optimal or whatever. So here, for example, I go and iterate through a map, which you shouldn't do, but I also don't really care at this moment in time because it's easy to change the underlying data structure for my components. So that being said, we have also the movement system is something I did today. Let me just rename this because it's not properly not properly named. Yeah, so this inspiration for this came from me from watching the there's a presentation on the GDC from last year that where engineers from Blizzard explained how they do this kind of thing inside Overwatch and how it was successful for them and so on. And I really like the idea. I never got a chance to try it on C++, and I really like the idea because it's not always when I had to work with Unity, Unreal, or any game engine almost ever I worked with, it was really hard to do behaviors which affected more than one component. So you either end up sending events or end up not knowing where data from your component is touched from another component and so on. So it's quite complex. But this way, in the system, some higher level thing acts upon your entities, and this way you have everything in one place basically, and you can easily see. So for example, for updating a hierarchy, this kind of behavior, for example, was really easy to make. So this way we have why is this so ugly? Okay, I'm sorry, I got confused while I was talking. So we have entities that can carry other entities that can carry other entities and so on. And it's super easy. So all we expose is this thing. This is not important. This is just the constructor, let's say, or something that constructs it. But it's entity holders, which is an entity holder component, and transform components, because we need to update our whatever we hold, that object's position needs to be updated. And this is a mutable and this is not a mutable, and it's really easy to reason about what's happening. And later on it will be also easy to put stuff like this on threads, where you can have systems that work on different threads at the same time and synchronize later on and so on and so forth. So I'm super happy with it, all in all. Sorry. And it was the right choice. I almost backed out of it when this happened and I wanted to have this, but after I properly designed it, it's a pleasure to work with such a system. So yes. Let me just rename all of these and we'll continue afterwards. So instantly, for example, this system, the planning one, that updates the actions of dwarfs, you can see it's quite complicated. It needs dwarf components, it needs the dwarf transforms to know where they are in the world, or maybe where the items are in the world. It needs entity holders, a list of all the entities, because we need to see, let's say we need a plank or whatever, we need to search it somewhere. Task list as well. So this is almost a hint that this kind of the planning system needs to be split into two parts. Maybe finding items in one place and then updating the actions in another place. And anyway, I really like it and I'm happy with it. What else has happened? So besides changing the components and so on, a bit of reorganization happened. So components are in their own folder, systems are in their own folder. This graphics thing, it's in his own folder. Oh, one thing I discovered, but it will be really hard to show, but I took a screenshot here, is this. So I don't know if you can see, I have code coverage stats for some of my files for the unit tests I have. It was really, I think it's pretty good code coverage. Graphics systems are completely untested, but I don't really care about those right now. I want to move them in their own crate anyway later on, with separate tests, so I wouldn't bundle it with the game test. But I'm quite happy with this, and almost everything here is tested except stuff that has to do with rendering on the screen. So the rendering component is almost not touched at all. It's created, but whatever, it doesn't render. Helpers is also something, there's some methods that are unused in here, I believe. This is just nothing and rendering, so it's just some data and rendering as well. It's just a vector of vectors, matrix, I suppose. Okay, transforms, planning system, and so on. So I'm super happy with this kind of thing. In order to generate this type of stuff, you just need to install cargo Kcov, I think it's called. You run it like this. Well, you first need to install and then you can run it like this. Unfortunately, of course, it doesn't work on Windows, but I do have a Linux VM around that I go into and run it from time to time, so I can see what I've missed in my unit tests. Tests got a little bit better. I've created some more of them. They're not super fancy, but the game is not super complex yet. And another really big change that happened is we can serialize data now. So I integrated serde support, and let me show you. We have this recipe table, which is basically a map that tells us how an entity is being made. So from this entity type, we have this for this entity type, which can be a bed frame or a dwarf or whatever weapon, sword. We're making it with this recipe, and the recipe is this is again repeated here, but it's an array of recipe items, and here we have the entity types that are required to make this first entity, as well as how many, and we can put some more data here. And look how much code I had to write for it in order to serialize it from file. From JSON. JSON is not my favorite format, but it happened to work just fine, so I'm just gonna go with it. So this is it. Load from file, or actually I don't even save it to a file now. But there's these two functions, which are some wrappers over serde function methods. So because we derive serialize and deserialize, these magic macros take care of everything, and that's it. So this was it for a recap. It's quite a lengthy amount of work that went into it. Well, I think there were actually 2 weeks since my last stream, because last week I didn't stream because of the conference, and there were pretty big leaps, I would say, in terms of features added. Also serializing stuff allows me to test different kind of recipes. So these tests here, some of them actually use different recipe tables. Later on we'll have the full map, like a game saved, and we can test on it, and this way we can do a lot of, whenever a bug happens in a certain situation, I can just save that map, put it into a folder around here, and then do whatever I need to test after the bug is fixed, and it will be forever fixed since I'll have unit tests for it. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Oh yeah, I really wanted to do some proper CI, but I gave up, so I guess that's not something that happened. Me wanting to do something and then giving up. Other than that, I was super happy to see that the game still runs on Linux when I installed my Linux VM, because I tried to have some sort of CI with GitLab, but it didn't work, so yeah, whatever. Yeah. And okay, so maybe this needs to be refactored a little bit more. So for example, oh yeah, as I said about the tests, I found out that it didn't, wait, what is here? Yeah, it couldn't figure out, how do I explain this? If you wanted to make two of a same type of item, the dwarf reserved the same items from which you make the original twice. So for example, if I had to make 2 bed frames, the dwarf would just reserve the same 2 planks for both bed frames, so after he finishes the first one, he can't make the second bed frame. So I changed for one of the tests the bed recipe, so it needs 2 bed frames, and each bed frame is made from 2 planks. So this means, oh, look at this. Yeah, so this means I test that scenario. Look at this. I got invaded. Cat. This is my cat, one of my cats. Say hello, cat. Foi. Okay. Got a nice cat. What do you want? Okay. This stream got 500% better now with that cat's appearance. Okay, so let's submit this kind of thing. We can leave this here for now. A bit of refactoring happened, so I wanna get it out of the way. Oh, I also changed the rendering to take into account layers. I'm not sure it works. Okay, renaming stuff. Renaming stuff again. Okay, this layer is important, I think. Oh no, I need to check this in. But at least let's not. Planning is fine, but for pathfinding, let's not panic there. I know this will be pretty messy. I didn't actually plan on. Okay, anyway. Oh no, wait, this is an addition, so it will be woohoo. Okay, let's see now. Oh, okay, let's push. I probably broke everything. I was looking because I think I'm not sure if my, oh no, seems fine. OBS froze for me, but the stream seems okay, so maybe, oh, okay, it's back now. I thought I was having internet issues. Okay. That being said, oh, I discovered the most amazing thing, but I'm unsure on how to show it here. So if you press Ctrl K Z in Visual Studio Code, you get Zen mode, which means you get this to be full screen, and that way you can ignore all sorts of distractions, and it's pretty cool. And you also get a little bit of extra space here at the top and so on. Anyway, should be better for laptops and stuff like that. But I liked it, so Ctrl KZ. And it's toggle, so you can press it again to come back. Cool. Now we should oh, also I am trying to upload the recordings from the previous episodes. Some of them were lost, some of them are corrupted because bad with technology. But oh, look at this. What the hell? So I added two dwarfs to see if they can cooperate while they build something, but apparently wow, nice. Or this is it, we can ship it to Steam. So why? Oh, wait a second. So first of all, pathfinding. Let's see if pathfinding works fine, because I just wrote this code. It doesn't do a star or anything, so it just does a breadth first search for the, is it, yeah, breadth first search, not depth. So for the destination and position, start position, and yeah, I just wrote this before the stream, so actually this morning, but I'm not sure it works. That's why this panic was here, because I want to see exactly what's happening. So let's debug this and see how far away we are from doing something nice. Okay, nice crash. So it starts from 1, 2, and it needs to go to 6 and 1. 1, 2, 1, 3, 0, 2. What the Oh, wait a second. This is not how it's supposed to work. I forgot how it's supposed to work. Who writes pathfinding anymore? Let me see. I need to go from here to No, it's okay. The general idea is okay, but not the values here. So let's print this in a... My cat just went crazy. Let's print it in a nicer way. Is this the syntax actually? I'm not sure. Yeah, and for some of these systems I do think I will add iterators, but I don't mind, to be honest, writing this kind of gets and then I think it's fine. So this might be actually uglier. Let me make a bit of room here. So from 1, 2 it goes to 1, 3, so it goes 1 to the right, and then what is this? 2, 0. Okay, then goes to 1, 1. Okay, this is completely broken. Let's see. 0, 1, 0, minus 1. I think I need more. Well, 0, 0 is the current one. I may need one more. What did I miss? Wait, let me. I think 1, 1 is missing. So let me. Yeah, 1, 1 was missing. So let's. Hello. Okay. Yeah, almost. Isn't that in Haskell as well? Yeah, I really like this language. So. What the hell is happening here? Ah. Oh, actually, before we proceed with this kind of thing, let me check the other stuff works. Whoa. No, not really start its breadth first search because I'm lazy now. But yeah, it will be a star later on. Look at them, they're 2 bastards now. I don't know why the second one keeps following after the first one, but that may be a bug. Okay, so they can build it if I just teleport them to the thing. Yeah, they also look alike. I have a task here. Wait, where is my readme? Variations. Yeah, so what I wanna do, which I saw other games do, is use this kind of. Oh my god, they added. Whoa, this is the future. So they added zoom in. I want to make them grayscale and just color or like a lookup table. So yeah, anyway, I don't know yet what I want to do, but This is actually exactly that. So back and this is for configuring dependencies. I wanted to actually save to that format, but I didn't because there are no. So look at this, look at it. Recipe table is just a JSON, which is horrible in itself, but I wrote exactly 0 lines of code for this format, and they also support TOML, but only for strings, not for everything. So anyway, maybe I will add support because it should be quite easy. I looked at the backend for their library, but look at this. You just do this, derive whatever, and it magically generates code to serialize your thing into stuff that you want. So for example, what I use is the JSON backend, and my only functions are to load it from file because it only supported from string or whatever. And I also want it pretty so I can move around and do stuff with it. Edit it easier, I mean. But yeah. Then I can use it in my tests here. Different kinds of inputs. Because I had issues with two dwarfs not being able to cooperate, now I am always tracking it. But yeah, it's super cool. It took me yes. Probably if it works, if it can. I don't know how to make it a JSON from that, but yeah. Okay, back to pathfinding debugging, which is totally not what I planned for today. Not planning. I will probably do that because it's not really nice to edit it by hand. Although this should probably have an extension. It might actually be. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'll try it out. I was planning to add some more today, but now let's debug this first because I failed at writing code again. Let's see. Oh, let's actually debug it. Watch this. Of course I can. So breakpoints, everything. You can watch stuff here. The viewer is not great because, first of all, I think this is a lie because theoretically either the compiler gets to optimize stuff even if I disable optimizations, which is quite annoying, but most of the time you can track whatever you need, and some of them get lost due to the fact that Rust has no proper GDB. So from my understanding, it acts mostly like C++ because it compiles to something, and then that something is input to LLVM linker, or in this case on Windows it's the Microsoft Visual Studio linker. Meaning you get a lot of platforms for free, and a lot of nice optimizations, but they need a better way to connect the source to this. As you can see, maps are just what's happening here. I don't know. Theoretically, the position, which is what I'm interested in, should be fine. So leaving the locals. And this is beautiful. Look at this. Because this returns an option, which is like C# nullable types. It can be some of something or none. And if it's some of something, then we keep on doing stuff with it. Okay, so we put it in visited. 1, 2 was the... So as it looks scary there with... I'm trying to say that end position should be alive, but it's not. Why don't I see this? So, okay. I want this at least. Okay. In general, it was fine, but yeah. So now it goes 1 towards the right, which is fine. And which is the second new position? 2, 2, 0. Yes, it completely fails. I'll show you an output. It's probably because... Oh yeah, look, this is quite annoying. They need to make some better viewers for this. Anyway, still awesome. How did it get here is my question. 1 to 0 to... Oh, it took a left. Went... I think we need some simpler cases, because this is quite far away if I remember it correctly. Yeah, let's do something else. Since we have a bug on this anyway, we can just write a test here. Whoops. No, not here. Yeah, they should, according to my map here. They should support diagonal and everything, but let's write this people can also see how awesome tests are. Sorry. Yeah. I just want to copy paste some code for maps. Let me cover stuff around. Oh yeah, this. Do I actually need it like this? Or whatever. I think the map for pathfinding shouldn't have all the cell information that it has now, but yeah, this is what I'm trying to do here. And this is fine because we can just not exactly sure what the hell I'm doing, because oh, okay, so later on we'll verify if they're valid or not. So vec3 of 1 1 0, let's make it like this, to vec3 1 3 0. This is a reference. How do I compare to arrays? You know what? Let's do this. Whatever. So this should be fine. What the fuck am I missing here? And now, yeah, but then okay, fine. I was actually lazy. Okay. There you go. I was thinking if vectors support comparison operators, and yeah. Uh, where's this? Like in Python, right? What? Okay. Yeah, this is the cool thing because I'm using it because so Rust has a tool called Rust format. So I suppose you can change the defaults in it, but it's what's invoked if I do format document here, and it does this. And now I like it. I don't know. Maybe I got used to it, but yeah. Because it's the default there and it's super easy to just and it does pretty neat stuff like this kind of iteration. I think it's the same for Visual Studio because this format document will just invoke the cargo thing, the Rust format. So anyway, this is a plugin. It's not from the editor, it's from the language tools. And all the crates and all the things online are usually respecting this kind of thing, so might as well look like them. Now let's see if this is correct, because I am unsure. I usually have tests outside. There's two ways you can write tests. Theoretically, here you put the integration tests in a tests folder, and each of these files gets compiled to its own executable and stuff in there gets run. I'm not sure if each of them or each of these gets compiled to an executable and run. I'm a bit unsure about it. And because they can run them in parallel and so on. And there's another thing called unit tests, which is this kind of thing here, that you define it inside of all your project files, but with a config flag. So let's first see that this gets invoked. What? Okay. Oh, and the best thing about it is the cargo, which is the package manager. Is just amazing. Whoa, what? Yeah, so this new is not an allocation, but it's a sort of what do you call it? Standard way of creating objects, the convention. So this will not allocate usually. Just kind of a constructor. Let's see what else. What? Oh. Those. I didn't try. Maybe the other thing, the Visual Studio plugin has better source code. What's it called? The debugging prettifiers. I always forget the name. No, but there's a file that makes even the C++ map and vector more readable. It just prettifies the debug stuff. Yeah, the visualizer. And I'm not sure this guy uses it. What? Did it come? Always immutable by default. And immutable means immutable, not like C++ const. Yeah, exactly the netviz. Or whatever it's called now. Maybe that's the new name. Yeah. So I'm not sure Visual Studio Code uses it, but since I work in a variety of systems, this is the nicest cross-platform experience. Look at this. Mutable. I'm not gonna say anything anymore. Okay, one failed. And I should see the output. Ah, this guy's failed, but where is my... test pathfinding? Ah, can't search here. What did I run? Cargo test. I didn't write them, so... Oh, really? Oh, perfect. I can move this out of here. Where is this? I think this gets re-exported, so I can just do something like this. I don't understand how... yeah, because I don't actually know. Maybe in the meantime we can check why that test didn't get test module and whatever. Oh. What? Do I just need to do this then? Ah. Okay. I'm amazed. Not quite. It's more like namespace in a way, but closer to Python module concept, because it can have, yeah, it's more like a namespace than a class. Classes are just data where you put it here in a struct and then you implement stuff for them. These look a bit scary because they have lifetime specifiers and whatnot, but let me find a simple one. So yeah, classes have like this struct and then and here you implement the methods for this, and you can also have traits. So I can do stuff like implement debug for dwarf component. And you can do a lot of nice stuff like that with traits. Let me see if I have in helpers. I think I have this kind of thing. So for example, this vec3 thing just has a new, whatever, this doesn't matter, but add comes from the standard ops module, and it's a trait, and you can implement that trait for your structure, and then you can add two vectors when you do a plus b or whatever. So it's a very cool way to extend your objects behavior with these kind of traits and so on. Okay. We can move this back now since I saw what I need to do. I think I can do this. Let me see. Format. Not sure if I need it or not, but let's try it. I'm really curious. So if I do this, then anyway, but they're pretty cool. It took me a while to understand traits, especially since it's kind of a weird concept, because well, it's not necessarily weird, but they can do static and dynamic dispatch depending on how you use them. It's quite clear when each of them happen. Yes, test pathfinding failed. Nice. But there are some really good tutorials out there. Or if anybody's interested, I can paste it in the chat. Let me try and find it. No, it's good because we did this. So now we can just and these are macros, the thing with the exclamation point. Okay, so I don't need this, I don't need this, and I don't need this. I think it might be the billionth time I'm debugging pathfinding code. A star in various languages. And still not getting it right. Okay, so yeah, it's surprising because it usually never works and I copy pasted from Stack Overflow, but now I did it myself and it never works. it doesn't work. Anyway, so we have 130, 110, 120, 210. What is this? Oh, okay, 11 to 13, and it goes to 11, 12. Back to 2-1 because why the hell not, and 2-2. So I think first of all here oh wait yeah, we need to do this. Of course, yeah, we need to put the last position in, so now we should have it. And let's see, is it because we visit too late? Oh, it should be fine. Anyway, what did I run? What? Okay, so 1 3 2 2. Oh, of course, because it doesn't. Oh my god, so stupid. Well, actually, I draw a bit on paper. Somehow it is fine. The path 1 1 1 2. Two, 1, 2, 2. I think I need to update the parents as well. Yeah, because when you get a better path, you need to short circuit it. Where does it go here actually? Huh? But I have parents here. And theoretically, if I reverse it, it should... But wait, let me see it on paper where these guys go. 2, 1, 2, 2. And 1, 3. What the hell? I'm a bit surprised. That 2 is considered... Yeah. I know I have parents here, so basically the parents map is from a... from a node to its parent. So from a node to its parent. Let's see this visited thing. I hope it has debug stuff. Okay, so visited works like this. And let's also print the parents after this. This. To rerun pass minus minus lib. Ah, okay. Nice. And it's rerunning only the fail test, or? I like the fact that you have access to the private things like this that aren't exported from the pathfinding module. Actually, a module is also a file. It's really kind of a namespace, but yeah. So unless you put here public, this doesn't get isn't visible from the outside except for testing, which is pretty neat. But now it's inside here. But if I move this in the test folder and fix up all the compilation errors, it should be fine. So let's check this out. Oh my god. First of all, really? Let's do non-pretty printing. I don't know how to make it infinitely scroll on this PowerShell thing. Hey Joshua, how are you? Okay. I just did that. It's quite fun. The cheap weight stuff. I think that's a pretty cool thing that I would do you have games for it, like a game pack? I think Pong is the most decent cheap 8 games out there. And Space Invaders is pretty cool. I don't remember what game pack I used. Let me see if I've uploaded it. Yeah, I think there's a really nice game pack, but let me check if I have it here somewhere written down. Oh, you can steal it from my... I don't remember where I got them from, to be honest. Yeah, and the comment is very good. But all of these do work. So, yeah, you can use this for most. And they do all work. I think so, actually. I'm not exactly sure. It should be fine, I think. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Where is my dwarf? Okay. Back to business. Wait, what's the key? Ah, I wanna reverse it. Oh, wait. So, which one is the position, maybe? Oh, okay, never mind. Okay. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. So excuse me. Yeah, so you also need to, I got tricked on actually not jump but call commands because I didn't implement the stack, so I couldn't return properly for a while until I realized I was missing that kind of thing. That's pretty cool though. If it's on GitHub, you should just post it because I think you can post links. So, okay, let's copy this thing. Now it's more. How do I copy from command line? Yeah. And not even then, because sometimes some games work and yeah, some others use some obscure command and so on. So it's... I didn't try to properly test the commands, like, but it also sounds super boring, so yeah. To do like actual tests for each of the commands with inputs, outputs and so on. Yeah, so for cheap 8 games, I believe it's a bit harder because there is no proper spec. Yeah. So, but for real consoles, you can just time it according to the CPU that you're simulating, but chip 8 is basically a VM, so it's quite annoying to get the speed right. Yeah. Okay. Visited. Okay. I'm just gonna rerun this again. Yes, I do not know any of the extended only games. So I think all of those that I collected on my GitHub work on the oldish chip 8. I'm not actually sure, to be honest, because I didn't work on it for a while. But yeah. Okay. So visited. Whoa, what the hell? So let's see now. Holy. First we go from 1-1 to 1-3, I believe, right? Is it 1-3 our destination, or is it to 1-3? Okay. Ah, yes. I can show you in a bit. Let me just look at this. I actually can see. Wait, I have it here. Oh, what the hell? I don't remember what they do. Of course, I didn't. Is it clear screen and return from? Is it this one's? Yeah, so this is basically how I matched. The first time you match for. You need to break your instructions into parts like this. And then match according to each of them, and then match again for these sub instructions like the E or E0 part. You can take a look on that and see how, but it works pretty fine. And then it helps you when you execute the commands as well. It's a bit cleaner. Because some of them need so basically all commands have an Y and an X register that you need to extract, or most of them have. So you might as well extract everything at the beginning and then compare according to the first part of the command. So the first 8 bits, like which will be a 0, and then you need to compare it with the second part of the commands and the third and fourth and so on. And if you look at the reference for it, it's always X, Y, N, N, or whatever. I think that's the actual reference names that they give them, or that's how I found it in one documentation. Okay, let's see. So let's see here. 1, 1, 1, 2. 2, 1. So apparently we do the children fine. 2, 1, 0. And then 2. Whoa, what? And 0, 2, and 2, 2. So all of these children are fine. And they're all in the map. And then we visited. Oh, whoops, this is broken and badly, so this is the correct way. Yeah. Oops. So this is for the first one, and then for the second one, interesting. You see this 0, 2 ends up a child of 1 and 2, but it was already here. Ah. I think I know what's wrong. No, I think the parents should be only set if you don't have one. I don't exactly know, but let me see. So here we push the to visit and we update the parents array, parents map. The parents map is separate from the path. Path is an array with the points we need to go to, and the parents is like a separate thing, so nothing should happen to it when I reverse. The point is I do set the parent of this new position even though he may have one, and his new parent doesn't really make sense, does it? I don't think it makes sense to set this parent here, so also wait, wouldn't this be fixed? Because I don't even need to put it here again, right? Wait. Because I only need to have it once in the to visit array. Am I being stupid? I'm a bit confused as to what the logic is here, but let's try this ugliness. I would like to see, just to confirm, let's go back. Okay. I think this will have doubles, whatever. I'm fairly sure we'll add more than one time. So let's see, to visit 1.3. Aha, look at this. Yeah, okay. Can do this here, and then we can do this here. Whoops. We're getting there. Compilation times aren't that great, but yeah, it's being worked on, so I'm quite happy with this. And it panic failed, but the path is 1113, 1112. Oh, it's still broken. What the? How the hell? Wait, is this same? Did this not build? Oh, but it did, because I saw the warnings. Yeah, so it's fine now. One. Okay. Can leave it like this for now. I'll do a proper restart, but I'm lazy now, so okay. And we should also skip pathfinding if we have a Should we? I was wondering because this sets a path here. And whoa. This doesn't look correct, does it? Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. About movement. Wait, is vector pop at the front or at the... Probably at the back. Okay, so we don't need to do the... Doesn't look right, so... Anyway. And the... And this shouldn't be part of it. Well, yeah. I need to do that comparison operator, but not now. The thing is, I use the Z thing for two. It's also the level, but it's also the draw layer. So I'm just gonna compare the X and Y for now and then fix it up. Although I do remember. Okay, so okay. Where is this unwrap? I know why they're doing it, but I'm whoa, why did I break this, I wonder? Ah. Five. Do I have logs for spawning? Which is okay. Uh, yes. Oh, we have the recipe, and this should have an entity type. Okay. Cool. Uh, I think it's the mattress, and I believe I know why it's happening. Oh no. What? Today, okay, 6. The bastards. I didn't fix the bug. So yesterday I had a bug where they both reserved the same item. Look at this. Actually, I'm not sure if this is the bug here, but it's removed here and then some other dwarf wants to use. So if I go at the beginning of this, what the hell is 6 then? Six is a log because it's task ID 2. Wait, let me see the tasks. Bed frame. So no, this is a task that wants to build a bed frame, so 6 is a log. Do I by any chance spawn it's a blank. Yeah, so that's why they're missing, because it's happening here. I really need to do this from files instead of hardcoding them there. But if that's the case, then I'm a bit surprised. I remember fixing this last night, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know exactly what's wrong, but I'm not gonna fix it because we need to change the way we're loading the map. I mean, this is a horrible hack here that I need to serialize properly. The problem is that sometimes both dwarfs want the same item and they get into fights for it. And one of them removes it from the world and consumes it where it makes the bed frame and so on. So it picked these two, then it built a bed frame. It's funny because Pathfinding then it picked this and this, and now he's building another bed frame. Now he's putting this thing up. So it kind of works. Pathfinding is completely broken, but it does get to the end position, and there is a an easy way to fix it. We just need to correctly patch the parents of each node and update them, and then we can do A star and stuff like that. Let's now think a little bit about serialization. So the 1000 points question is, how do we do this? So we have some recipe table which is here in assets. That should be referenced, so I suppose this should also always be referenced by the world, because if you have a game and I release an update and you have a map already saved, you shouldn't create a new map just to get the new recipes. So this shouldn't be saved as part of the world. On the other hand, the components themselves and things need to be serialized properly. So how do we do this? Well, they're basically hash maps. The problem I have, if I do this, I want to skip some of the elements for now. Well, why? Because I don't want to load this from the same JSON or whatever save file. So the task list is fine, the map itself is fine with all the properties there. ID provider status should be fine because yeah, we need to know this is like a the one that gives us ID for entities. And resource manager I would like to also skip it because this contains almost nothing useful. And let's see how we can do that. Beautiful. Hello. Level 1 goblin. The goblins are the bad guys. They will appear. So I want to skip this, and I want to skip another one. Which one? This. Let's reorder these. Goblins are actually the bad guys here, so they will come and annoy the dwarves and steal stuff from them and beat them up and so on. That's the plan, at least. The official plan. Maybe I can make some friendly goblins. Kind of. To be honest, I never played Dwarf Fortress, but it's more Nomoria and Banished inspired. I never got into it. It was so complex for me. So, but yeah, it's kind of like that, but simpler, let's say. This what I want to do. For entity component, and now I need to do this for all the components. So for the for the components themselves. Really? Why is this unused? I'm anyway. Dwarf component. So look at this. Oops. We're gonna implement save game just by putting these tags where we want them to be. Action needs them as well. The same for this guy. We need to propagate them everywhere. I should have... It's pretty cool language. So these are basically the derived stuff is basically some sort of magic way to generate code. So it's kind of like an advanced macro, but not really. I'm not sure exactly how to explain it, but basically what happens under the hood is these methods get to be generated for your class. So here clone generates a clone method for this action struct and so on. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing serialize. I think I don't need to import that, to be honest, because it might be yeah, this is what we're doing now. So as you can see, now it will complain that some vec3 is not serializable, which is true. And all of this is from the serde crate, so you can also specify which type of format you want to serialize into. So now I'm using JSON, but that might change in the future. Okay. Transform man, so I'm so wait, let's do something else. I don't want to mix stuff up, that's why I'm a bit annoyed that I forgot to push these changes. Okay, these are all serialization linked, right? Okay. Oh, whoa, whoa. This is a what did I do? Should be here. I wonder, wait. Okay, I'm on the proper branch because I was a bit worried. Moving on with serialization. Transform component. Of course, you can write your own things because these will implement a trait, not really a method. So you can probably do impl serde blah something like this for transform, or maybe this is a generic one, something like this, and then you can write here function deserialize, and you can do fancier stuff inside of it, blah blah. But the default ones are good enough for me, so we're just gonna use those. I think they don't depend on the backends, so if it's a JSON or whatever, not exactly sure how this works, but yeah. Let's see what else is here. Renderable component. Here. This will be interesting. Because I need the OpenGL stuff to be already set. So what we can do, let me think a little bit. Yeah, this is a okay, I want to skip this. Maybe it's this one. I'm not sure why it doesn't work here. Okay, so what we need to do is serialize these, or maybe it has no meaning because we didn't do this here. Yeah. We need to do setup graphics objects after we load it. So should be fine, to be honest. Wait, I also want to skip. Oh, I need to skip both of them. How the hell can they be anyway? Okay. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, so what else do we have here? Entity holder. Is it the last one? Because I see the warning disappearing here. There's a vector here. And task. Whoops. What we're doing here, basically, now we're propagating this kind of things everywhere. Task result. And what's nice, for example, this is an option of something, and as long as this something knows how to serialize itself, because this can be none or the value here, so I'm super happy with it. Oh, this is the implementation, sorry. And probably, okay, that's done. What? Oh, okay, this is done. Not implemented for map cell. Okay. this one. And whenever I modify a structure, it will take care of saving it for me. Or it will warn me that I need to derive these things for the member if needed. So yeah, this is something I wanted to fix, but I'll just skip it for now. Because before switching to entity components and systems, I had like a dwarf class and so on, like I told you in the beginning. I didn't refactor everything, so some of these are still bundled together. This should be in the renderable component, basically. Okay, who else is here? ID provider. I think entity ID is already, it's type def anyway, so it should be fine. For recipe table, what the hell? Oh, in case we don't find it. Whatever. Yeah, because it will call when we load it, it will call. Okay. So now, watch this. Before returning this world, we're gonna do. Wait, how do I? I think this is the way. Really? So now we should get world JSON in here. And let's just panic after. So we quit. Whoops. We need to patch the loading of a world. So it shouldn't be hard enough. Renderable components and the cells need to be reinitialized, which means calling one simple thing in a world trait here, which is not in the updatable. This setup graphics objects, and this will patch all the graphics weak pointers. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Look at this, the cells are here. Of course, JSON. What? And I think this will be the most of it. But this, whoa, really? Yes, because it's too early to save there. That's basically an empty world and the map is hard-coded, so I need to do this. World, do this, do that. It means we can do really nice testing now. With all sorts of scenarios, and that would be super cool. Yeah, because here we spawn the stuff, and here somewhere we need the world at the beginning of the file, which is an empty world. We don't need this anymore. So instead of all of this here, and yeah, instead of all of this, we're just gonna do load from file. Do I need to delete this, I wonder? I didn't check. What? Oh wait, we didn't even compile it last time. What the hell? We use the module and we run. It should override the file. That was I'm a bit confused, but whatever. Oh. Wait. Okay, it works. So we have the components, dwarf components, transform components with each ID, so all these maps are saved, rendering components. How cool is this? This is the entity array with all the IDs of spawned entities, task list. So, and this is the map. And I think there's nothing after the map, maybe. Yeah, just the ID provider. Okay. Let's make a new folder. Here, and now we can just do the following. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. Don't need this. This is explicit panic, so the result was fine. Yeah. The serialization was fine. Let's see, where is this used then? In here. We can clean up some of the stuff soon enough. Okay. And now look at this. Yes, it worked. Now we can just load the map from wherever we have the test map, but this will be basically like a save game, let's say. And it's really useful for testing, as you can save all sorts of weird scenarios and then test stuff. Make sure you don't break funky situations and so on. Of course it crashed. Oh, it didn't. Okay, and let's do, I think I need to I don't know why format fails here, to be honest, but yeah, whatever. It's work in progress. Oh, because we also have a I need to do some UI work probably soon enough, so let me show you. So you see some more stats and things like that. I'm quite happy with today's progress, to be honest. I can fix pathfinding later. How much time did we spend on this stream? Oh, almost 3 hours. Jeez. Yes, so now... Oh, wait, what? This will not be called. Do we skip the recipe table? Okay. What does default do here? Let me see. As I think it won't allow me to have it without a default, and I can put default to load it from... Yes, perfect. And the location is assets, recipe. Wait, where am I? Recipes. Hello. Perfect. So now, yes, because Rust is awesome, and I told you to learn it. Super nice. Look at this. Look at it. I implemented some behavior from my thing, just like this. It's awesome. And of course, it works because what happened before in world, when we serialize something, these things get skipped, and what happens, these members will be the default, which means this function gets called, and now it's loading it from the proper space. So when we create that object, we don't create it from this new method anymore. We create it from whatever is generated. And what's generated for the non-serialized stuff is just the default option, the default function, this default trait. Anyway, so he spawned his beta and he's a super happy dwarf now. And I'm super happy because this works. This doesn't matter. I'll check this in. Yes. Is it this one or? So there's two parts to that. Let me show you. Okay, where is it? Update. So in update, we have a bunch of systems that get updated. So for example, we update the pathfinding, we update the actions that the dwarfs take. So this is basically the AI components update, pathfinding update, movement update, hierarchy update for when you have entities on you that you hold. So entity holders. Entity holder components are basically just containers like a box or bag, or a dwarf itself has this type of thing because he can hold stuff in its hand. So each of these systems is updated for each tick in this order. Now, for example, for one of them, which is updating the hierarchy, currently we don't exactly support this case, so an entity holder, like a dwarf holding a barrel, holding items in that barrel. We just support one level of depth, so we get a position here. Ah, this is named wrong. Okay. So for all the entities in that have a position here, we'll get their position updated, as well as, for example, for movement. It's really nice because you can see here, like for updating movement, we need to mutate the dwarf component and the transform component, and so on. No, these things basically act on a view of they're stored separately in these arrays here. So components are each put in their respective array. So this is the AI component, transform component. Some of them are not components, but this is entity holder components actually, let's say. And these systems act on a view of the world data, and they only care about the stuff they want to mutate. Let me, yeah. So the movement system, which is here, only cares about entity holders and their transform components. And basically for each entity holder, we get whatever it's holding and we update the transform of that entity ID. So this is super nice when you have a lot of things interacting with each other. I mean, as I said, I think at the beginning, this is a really complex systems. It needs to mutate a lot of stuff, first of all, and it needs to touch a lot of stuff regardless of mutation. Like it gives items to dwarves, it looks at where entities are and so on, it looks at the task list, also has the ticks here. But yeah, this is how it generally works in this type of system, entity component system, because the components have absolutely no behavior, so it's quite nice. Let me add this here. Yeah, so components are just data, and the systems act upon various views of that data. That's about it. You could make it nicer, because look here, I do a map lookup for each dwarf components to get its transform position. It could be nicer. I've experimented on a branch with having a sort of vector and an iterator, and but yeah, it doesn't bother me too much, and if it's too slow, I'll just replace some of these maps with arrays and update them accordingly, or modify the way components are stored or whatever. Okay, let's see what this is. We don't need this anymore. Yeah, it depends how many things you have around, but I'm not worried. I mean, even 1000 map lookups are still good enough. So that would mean 1000 dwarves. If things go bad, I just make them arrays and do for loops over them instead of map lookups, or bundle more data together. Like, yeah. It's quite a flexible system. It doesn't necessarily need maps or whatever. I just happen to. Yeah, that's a lot of doors. Anyway, I'm just saying performance is not something I worry about, and we can do some performance tests later on and see how it behaves. The nice thing is that you can capture really nice data from Rust programs, exactly like from C++. So any tool that works with measuring performance for C++ executables will work for these ones. Not sure. That would be the most boring art Twitch ever. I think I did draw, but not the dwarf, but the other stuff. The bed and so on last time. I don't need this, and I don't need this. Okay. The bacon plank and the washing machine bed, or whatever they are. Yeah, so I do need to add more items, so might as well add them here. I think this is useless. I'm really happy how this serialization stuff went. Yeah, I think it draws better than me. But yeah, I'll do it if I add more stuff while I Twitch. It should be okay. So, this being said, this is basically done. Pushing to GitHub. Yeah, there's somebody, so for Rust I think Ferris is really good example. I usually follow him. He does emulators as well and a lot of funky stuff like that, so highly recommended. That's actually how I saw and learned about Rust, because I was watching him doing a sort of emulator for N64 or something a bunch of months ago, and I really like the language, and that's how I tried it. Okay, let's consult the to-do list. This is not done. This is not done. Not done. We basically did stuff that isn't even in the list. I think this is for rotation actually, to see what I need to draw, but I think I know now, so it's fine. Okay. Okay. I think I'll get sued by Blizzard if I add Zerlings. But I can add goblins. Goblins and fighting mechanic. This should still be at the top of the list though. And yeah. Okay, this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Workbenches. This is really important actually. Shouldn't be too hard to implement, but now things just spawn into thin air, which is kinda lame. And workbenches would be really cool because pathfinding, workbenches, and then I need to figure out, or I don't know, I really want to make this isometric, so this is why I don't really do a lot of art for it, because I'm gonna replace it. Probably not the dwarf, or maybe prettify it somehow, but okay. I think I can add wait, maybe I wanted to do the food system as well. It comes also with hunger. Dwarf beautification. Okay, perfect. So now let me put this on GitHub as well. I'm kind of disappointed that pathfinding doesn't work yet still, but that's a really good question. I think the answer might be yes, according to me. So yeah, but the beard is shorter, I believe. I'm not sure actually. It can be however I want it. Okay. What's the time? Okay. Whoops. Yeah, so you see the planning is really Okay, thank you. Okay, so it is a fact that beers were... Okay, I'm okay with that. So if we look here, where is my guy? You never know, just saying. You don't know. I'm not... not saying anything about it. Might as well be. Everybody's equal in the dwarf society. No, they will mostly just spawn into the world and die. But mostly die. Because you never know where dwarves come from. So... okay. Ah, workshop. Yes, I think after a few, mostly in the spring, after it rains, then I agree with that theory. And it looks like a potato if you look at it. I mean, again, makes perfect sense, in my opinion. While we do this, I don't understand why this is so slow to do the diff. Now it works better anyway. Think we're kinda done for today because I'm getting a little bit hungry and doing this proper pathfinding will take a little bit more than I'm willing to spend on it now before 8. So yeah, I think next time I'm just gonna solve this issue. probably off stream, and then the next weekend, if I am here, let me check. Yeah, I'll be here. Next weekend we can most likely see a little bit more variation in terms of items, and this week I'll focus on stability and things like that. It was fun having you guys around, so see you next time. Bye.